Astrology isn't just about signs and symbols. It's a tool for navigating real life. Hello, and welcome to Astrology with Elisa. I'm your host, Elisa Dixon, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. I am so excited, you guys. My mom is coming to visit this weekend, and I cannot wait to see her. She used to come visit several times a year, especially when my kids were little. So often that she started keeping clothes and toiletries here, so she had less to pack. And we had our routines, the things we always did. Shopping, pedicures, long talks, usually with a cup of tea or a glass of wine. Even though we lived far apart, those regular visits kept us close despite the distance. And over time, like it does for so many of us, life got fuller, busier, and our visits became less frequent. Not because we wanted to see each other less, but life happened. She needed to stay home more to care for her aging mother, and our weekends started filling up with kids' activities. The kind of full where you look at the calendar and think, how is there not a single easy weekend to make this work? And then, when a weekend did seem possible, something else would happen. A snowstorm messing up all the flights. So it's actually been a really long time since we've had a visit like this. Over the last year, we did see each other a few times, but it was during the busyness of 2 family weddings. Wonderful moments, but not really our usual time together. Not that quieter, more personal, one-on-one time where you can just be. So this coming weekend, even though life is still full, she's coming anyway. And between both kids, we have 5 soccer games. So this is definitely not a calm, open weekend, but we're carving out time, good quality time. And I am so excited. This is something my heart has been waiting for. And it wasn't until a few days ago that I connected the timing of this visit to what's happening in the sky this week. And I couldn't help but smile because the astrology is so fitting. Jupiter just stationed direct in Cancer. And I thought, of course, because if ever there was a Jupiter in Cancer moment, this feels like one. Cancer is the sign of home, family, care. It's the people who know you without needing a long explanation. And Jupiter expands whatever it touches. Jupiter grows things. And Jupiter has been known for that for a very long time. In traditional astrology, Jupiter was called the Greater Benefic, the planet associated with growth, blessings, wisdom, and faith in life. Jupiter tends to show us where life is trying to expand, where there is room for more possibility, and sometimes even where a little more optimism is needed. Sometimes that looks like opportunity, success, money, luck, possibility in the outside world. But sometimes Jupiter grows something quieter, connection, support, belonging. And in Cancer, that kind of growth often shows up through family, through care, through the people who make life feel like home. And that's why this visit with my mom is so meaningful to me. But it also got me thinking about Jupiter itself, because Jupiter has a very recognizable energy. And in my life, I experience it very clearly through people. I joke all the time that my husband is the Jupiter to my Saturn, because I have a very strong Saturn in my chart. Saturn rules my ascendant and my moon. So the Saturn in me is always looking at what makes sense, what's responsible, what needs to get done. And Saturn has given me a lot. It helps me commit, follow through, build things that are real. But Saturn has a shadow too. Sometimes my first instinct is to say no. No, that's too much. No, that's not practical. No, that doesn't fit the plan. And then there's my husband with all that Jupiter energy. Where I say no, he says yes. Kids want ice cream? I'm already thinking about sugar and bedtime and dinner. He's halfway to the freezer. Kids want to stay up late? I'm saying absolutely not. And he's asking, well, what movie should we all watch? And it makes me laugh, but it also helps me understand Jupiter. because Jupiter carries this spirit of generosity, this openness, this willingness to make room for joy. Jupiter trusts that life can hold a little more possibility. Of course, Jupiter has a shadow side too. Too much yes can become excess. Too much growth can be overdoing it. Too much optimism can turn into overpromising. But still, there is something beautiful about Jupiter's faith. Jupiter reminds us not to make life so tight and controlled that there's no room left for grace. And that's part of why this moment matters. Because Jupiter has been retrograde. And when a planet is retrograde, the energy often turns inward. It becomes more reflective. So over the past few months, some of us may have been rethinking what abundance really means, what support looks like, what emotional nourishment actually feels like. And now, as Jupiter turns direct, that energy begins moving again. What was internal starts flowing outward again. The word that keeps coming to mind for me right now is receive, because Cancer energy is receptive. It feels, it gathers, it protects what matters. And with Jupiter here, we may find ourselves opening a little more to the support that is already around us. Jupiter will stay in Cancer until June 30th, and then it moves on into Leo. So we still have a few more months to work with this softer, more heart-centered Jupiter energy, which makes this moment a really beautiful time to notice where connection is growing, where support is showing up, where life is quietly expanding in ways that really matter. For me, this weekend with my mom feels like one of those moments. And it reminded me that Jupiter's blessings are not always loud. Sometimes they look like time together, conversation, presence, the feeling of being known and being held. And honestly, that feels like a pretty beautiful expression of Jupiter in Cancer. So as Jupiter continues moving through Cancer over the next few months, this can be a really beautiful time to pay attention to self-care, to notice where you might need a little more support, a little more rest, or a little more emotional nourishment. And if you'd like help with that, don't forget you can always grab my free moon sign self-care guide on my website. It's a really simple, personalized way to support yourself and the people you love based on your moon sign. And honestly, that feels like a pretty perfect Jupiter in Cancer kind of practice right now, learning how to take care of ourselves and each other a little bit better. I'll leave the link in the show notes. And if you're curious how Jupiter in Cancer might be showing up for you personally, feel free to book a reading. I'd love to explore that with you. I'll be back with you again next week. And if you'd like to hear more from me in the meantime, please check out my new Sunday series on the Fun Astrology podcast. I always have new episodes here every Wednesday and over there every Sunday. As always, I love and appreciate you all. Thanks again for listening. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Hey, Astro friends, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, follow the show, or leave a review. Let's keep growing this beautiful little community together.